around Scorpio season every year, and that's not a mistake, just so you know. Like we always hear about stuff that happened, in the family, things that got brought up. It's happening right in the middle of, the shadow period. So of course we have some stuff that comes up, but then what we have afterwards is Sagittarius season, which is always about coming up to the light after that shadow period, that period of like going down into the trenches and really digging up what you really believe, and then now you hold up what you believe into the light. And so we're going to talk today about our last episode, which is was all about our Black woman and Brown woman's allegiance to suffering, how much that's such a part of our culture. But we have this opportunity now to finally break that, to bring it up into the light and to receive it. So, I mean, one of the things that we talked about, Q, was like how I love how you said that, this kind of like buckling up for suffering, right? That we usually have when we are when we have that allegiance to suffering, like, especially when it comes to love and relationships, let's just buckle up for the next thing that's about to happen. Can't even just enjoy it right now. With this Sagittarius season, I want us to buckle up for optimism. I want us to buckle up for expansion. I want us to buckle up for a whole new way of receiving love, because what we receive with love is just a reflection of how we're loving ourselves.
Yeah.
And so let's change the code.
Change the code. I love when you say that. And when Karrie dropped that, like the conversation we had previous to it was like, why now? Like, why is now a great time? And I'm saying it like in the shadow period of Turkey Day and all of the things that we're expected to do, especially as, as women, as Black and Brown women. I know so many women that like literally our first reaction to the holiday season, like this supposed to be the season of Thanksgiving, is, oh, damn, my workload has just tripled by 10. I got to get all this food. I have to prepare it. Um, and if it isn't the physical labor, it's the emotional labor. Like, is Aunt so and so about to say something crazy? Or if you've decided to, like be on your own. Oh no, what is everybody gonna think? And around relationships, girl, this at this time of year, this is when they say to be looking out for the hobosexuals, right? Like cuffing season and all the drama that goes along with that. But there's some stress and anxiety about that, because there's such things as homosexuals, people that will swindle you into a relationship because they're looking for some place to stay for the winter. They are looking forward to your physical and emotional labor and intimate favors. And that's something that we deal with and like we talk about. And that sucks. And I love that we can use our tarot and astrology to freaking turn that all around, to absolutely renounce this kind of silent pledge to allegiance that a lot of us just agreed to, non-verbally and just through osmosis. And I'm so glad that we're talking about this today. Karrie, and I also think the way we both of us got to experience the holiday like has is going to flavor what we're talking about a little bit today. Tell us, give us a little post Turkey Day check-in. Tell us, we know Karrie is back in the fold, back in Marin County, so she's still like reintegrating. Tell us about your Turkey Day. How did it go? What are your reflections?
It was all about gratitude. Of course, my Turkey Day is always about gratitude. But it was interesting this time, right? Because I'm single and I am in a whole nother place, and I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying, just like this kind of like making decisions and, choosing. I'm enjoying this season of choosing. And so I had quite a few people that offered, a lovely evening or a lovely Thanksgiving event for me. I really opted to do it by myself. I did go out in the morning, and before the afternoon, before the actual dinner, and like, saw some people and just got my fill and my connection, because you do need that, yeah. But I was really looking forward to creating a menu for myself, my own Thanksgiving menu of stuff that I love. I was looking forward to cooking for myself, shopping for myself, taking myself for long drives. I love driving. I'm a big driving girl. I love even race car driving. So it's like I wanted to go explore this new area near the new place that I live. And so I went for like a lovely sunset drive, and I really just took care of myself. And it was not highs, it was not lows, it was just flow. And I was like, oh, this is where I want to be. I don't want to be up here. I don't want to be down here. I just want to be in flow. So it was kind of the perfect Thanksgiving for me this year. It may not be that way next year. It may be a number of other things, but this year,
Yeah.
it was all about that connection to self, and I loved it.
I love the quiet, soft way you just said that. Like, because I'm like, that's so wonderful. Like, that's so wonderful. Like, when you, and I'm sure, Karrie, your love of astrology and the way you share it with the world, like being kind of clued into like what your purpose is and knowing you're doing this wonderful service and teaching and inviting people into this modality that you love, that's got to flavor how fully you enjoyed the time with yourself, like during this time. And it's I'm not going to say enviable, but as you talk about it, I love just experiencing the quiet of your voice and talking about it, because for some of us that's not the case. And some of us we are thinking about our own enjoyment, and tuning into ourselves is the last thing that we feel like we're able to do around this time, right? Because this the way we kind of embrace whatever the hell this day is to whoever you are and your culture, for a lot of women, especially Black and brown women, just involves a lot of labor. So when I first think about, the holiday season, I have a bit of a panic attack. It's turned out wonderfully because my oldest daughter is home. um, my husband loves like together time, so I don't feel this pressure to have to entertain and deal with other people, but there is a lot of work. And we had a wonderful dinner. And even with what I decided to prepare for dinner, I hate turkeys. I feel like turkeys make a lot of grease. Nobody really likes it. Nobody eats it. Karrie went out. I think she's going to come back in just a second. But we even with what I decided to cook, I even said like I do not like turkey. Nobody in my family really likes it. So my oldest daughter asked for gumbo. So that's what we did. And I decided to cut in half all of the foods I normally make and just ask everybody what their favorite is, and commit to doing that. And the thing that which was for me, which was wonderful, and I've actually kind of embraced, if I don't want to do it, I'm not gonna do it. And I'm definitely gonna have some boundaries around making sure that I enjoy the holidays as much as everybody else in my house. And one of the things I wanted to talk about and to give a shout out to is my dance community. Y'all know I love to dance. That's kind of my fire magic. It's my pentacles magic, like in taking care of my body and generating heat in my body. There was one of my favorite instructors here in Marin, Efren Buzo, did this wonderful Thanksgiving dance class. And it was wonderful for so many reasons. But one of the reasons I loved it was how the energy was so wonderful. There was at least 50 to 60 of us like in that class, and we so wanted to be there. We wanted this just 2 hours of women that we know, as well as meeting like new people in our class, because it was in a different location, making friends and just really taking this time during that day when people have so many expectations of us to just be in our bodies and to enjoy ourselves. So that was a wonderful way for me to start the day. And it was a really practical way for me to live what Karrie and I teach and what we suggest to you and invite you into in our podcast. And especially with this last one, releasing that pledge of allegiance to suffering. We do not have to suffer during the holiday season. And if you decide that that is something that you want for yourself, we are here to help you do it. And we're here to help you learn and use your tarot and astrology to do that. So I'm going to take a slight pause to check in with Karrie and to see if I can get her back on here, because I do not see her right now. So everybody hold tight. Oh, and also while I'm figuring out what's going on with Karrie, I want you to get your tarot decks out. And if you get your tarot decks out, and if you have your astrology chart to hand, go ahead and pull it up while I check in with Karrie and start shuffling. I know we like to shuffle in different ways. This is the way I like to shuffle my cards. People have a lot of different ways they like to do it, but this is the way I do it. And because unless it's a really valuable or like a really old deck for my collection, I still go ahead and just shuffle the way people shuffle decks of cards. Especially I'd like one nice like regular gin rummy or spade style shuffle. Karrie, I cannot hear you, nor can I see you. So, like Karrie said earlier, like it's not even Mercury in retrograde yet it is retrograding like an MF. So let's see here. I'm going to see if I can see you over on our live, Karrie. And I cannot see it. So no, I don't think I can see you, but let's keep trying to see you. And let's see if Karrie can come back in and out. So she's working on it, y'all. And in the meantime, oh, I can tell you guys which deck that I'm working with while we are getting Karrie back in here. This is a brand new deck. I told myself I was going to do a review with you guys. And actually, in the chat, y'all can go ahead and let me know if you'd love for us to do a review for you. This is the Zodiac Tarot. And when I first saw it and first picked it up, I liked it so much that I asked, and there is Karrie. She's asking me if I can see her here. That is still a nope. And the second she pops back on, we're going to jump right back into our juicy, juicy topic. Karrie's going to talk to us a little bit about Sagittarius season and why, because it's the beginning of Sagittarius season, now is a great time to release and to reject, this pledge of allegiance to suffering. It's going to be wonderful. I'm so excited because I have a Sagittarius moon. And one of my favorite people on earth, my sister Andy, is Sagittarius sun. So I can't wait for that. And it looks as though I see your window, Karrie. I still don't see you. But the deck that I was using today and that I used for our pull is Zodiac Tarot. It's awesome. And the thing I love about it the most, this is one of our cards that we're going to talk about, and you can look right in the middle of. Oh, she doesn't see or hear me. Okay. All right, Karrie, that's cool if you drop out and come right back in. No worries, because I'm sure that the stream's not going to start. So go for it. So as you guys take a look at one of the cards, I don't know if this looks familiar to you, but if you ever use Canva, like this is one of the artists that's really featured there. And they do a really, if you ever need a kind of cute down and dirty image of a tarot deck, you can see it in Canva. But I love the card. It gives us a picture of the constellation and the astrological correspondences to what the card is. So it's a really, really great. Hopefully there's Karrie. There she is. Karrie, do that magic you do where you get rid of the echo.
Ah. Okay, hold on a second. It says I can't.
No worries.
Hold on, I'm going to jump off, come back, and I'll change it.
No worries. And I'm just going to, oh, I wonder if I can do it. Let's see. Echo cancellation.
Do that on your end. This is about to be an ASMR.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. There's no worries.
All right, hold on. All right, I'm going to leave and come back.
Yep, she's going to leave and come back and do the echo cancellation because she's the one that has to, it's a kind of magic when you come on, you've got to do it. But again, the Zodiac Tarot, if you're somebody you love tarot and you're studying astrology, or you love astrology and you want to study tarot, this is a wonderful, wonderful deck for it. The little guidebook that comes along with it is really lovely, and it explains all the correspondences, and it's a really great learning deck, and it's a beautiful deck for pro users too. And Karrie's that echo.
I still got the echo.
Oh, no worries. So yeah, wherever that little toggle it is for you to turn it on.
It says this can't be changed while recording.
Oh, we have to do it before. I wonder if I can do anything or step back.
I can step. Does it sound different if I'm back here?
It seems to be me. Like it's my voice I hear.
Oh.
Yeah. But it says when I try to turn it off as well. Thank y'all for being patient with us as we try to turn this baby off. Let's try again. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're going to keep going, and we're going to be a little echoey until we can figure it out. So, Karrie, jump in and talk to us about Sagittarius season. And I'm going to hush because there's no echo when you're talking. So go for it. Why now is a wonderful time especially in our relationships, to
Mm,
refuse and repudiate our pledge of allegiance to suffering.
mm. This is a fantastic time. I mean, we talk so much about Scorpio season and about how it's like so tumultuous and it's all about shadows and all this stuff. We don't talk about how sexy Scorpio is. And the whole point of the sexiness of Scorpio is that it is intimate. It's about intimacy. It's about into me, into you, into us, we see, right? Intimacy, right? And so this is this perfect segue, this period of time between Sagittarius and Scorpio, where we get to the fruit of like, what did we go through all that tearing down the shadow for, and really getting to the bottom of it? Because that's the best sex, by the way, is when you have had a nice big old fight and you've seen all the worst parts of each other, and then you're accepting that about each other. You're seeing that and going, and I love you still, right? That's what we're doing with ourselves, right? Seeing the worst parts of ourselves and then saying, and I love you still, right? And then we're doing that with our partners or with our committed lovers or not committed lovers or just whoever we're loving at that point. I've seen the worst of you and I love you still. Yeah. And then that's when the optimism of Sagittarius gets to come in. That's when it gets to come in and go, and so here's the good part. Here's that really good connection. And so this is the expanding to meet that amount of intimacy, because that was the struggle with Scorpio, was that you were constricting and you weren't surrendering to that level of depth and connection, and now you can with Sagittarius. And so when it comes to our relationships, I hope y'all did have a good couple of good fights during Scorpio season. I hope you did have a couple of tear down, like, I'm not, condoning violence, but like, I hope you did get to the root of things with each other, because now you can open up to that expansion. And especially for Black and Brown women, this is where we get to surrender fully. you know so much of our relationships are like, we're trying to get to the truth all the time. What's he not showing me? What's she not showing me? What they not doing? We're always detectives, right? And this is where we get to just kind of like relax and say, I've seen all there is, and I'm still loved anyway, and I can still love anyway. So it's very much about opening up to receive love and opening up to give love in this complete surrender. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Sagittarius season, if you can't tell.
My Sagittarius placement is something that Carrie, do you hear an echo?
I do not.
Maybe nobody else hears it, and I'm just going to ignore it and just keep talking. I never paid that much attention to my Sagittarius placement until you did my very first reading. And I have a Sagittarius moon in the 8th house.
Ooh, that's a sexy moon, girl.
Is it?
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm just saying.
Carrie makes
Okay.
me feel so good about my chart, my placements, and I promise you, if you're a client of hers, she's gonna help you understand how cool and sexy your chart is.
There's something sexy about everybody's chart, but I have to say that one in particular, like a moon in Sagittarius in the 8th house.
Well, Carrie, I'm gonna lean into that during this season, then, and I'm gonna say I'm doing it under the direction and the prescription of my astrologer.
Take a sip. Take a sip.
And I want y'all to too. This is the cool thing about studying our modalities. It really helps you plug into how cool you are. I say this every time in every episode. You are the coolest, freaking, most interesting person you know.
Yes,
I promise you are. You are the main character in this movie that is your life, and get into it. And if you don't know how to get into it, your tarot and astrology, pick up a deck, start learning it, because every question you ask that deck as you're getting started and you're learning, I'm gonna encourage you as a teacher of the intuitive art to focus it on you. Literally, for the first year you're learning, don't even bring other people into it. I would suggest, or I invite you to do, unless it has to do with how you're feeling, what you're thinking, your next plan of action. Like, you should be the person that is the subject and the focus. And with that being said, Carrie, is now a good time to jump into our pull for this, our pull and our shared collective pull. What do you think?
Yes. Well, I want to just instruct really quick, because you brought up a great thing about where Sagittarius is in your chart, right? Like you said, her moon is in Sagittarius,
Right.
and it rules, and that means that Sagittarius, because her moon is in the 8th house, Sagittarius rules her 8th house. So eighth house is the house of Scorpio. I told you this was sexy placement. Okay, eighth house is the house of Scorpio, and it represents the way you see those eighth house things. The eighth house is our taboo, our shadows,
Okay.
our witchiness, our our intimacy, our deep passion, like all of that stuff, our karmic lineage, right? And so you view it in this Sagittarian way, which is very expansive, right? Sagittarius is very much about the higher octave of something. And so you want to take a look on your astrology chart and look and see which house Sagittarius your chart. That's where you're going to one experience this new moon that's coming up. Two, that's be able to get that energy of what is it like to open up and expand. This area of your life will expand, by the way, because we're moving into. So, for instance, my chart, Sagittarius rules my third house of communications, right? So my speaking, my voice, right? So you will see me amplify this month. You will see me, my voice will be bigger, will be more expansive, will more truth will be laid out in a very loving and expansive and pleasant way, of course. But yeah, that's you're gonna see that light up in my life. So take a look on your own chart and see where Sagittarius is ruling, and then look forward to that area of life being very much expanded and optimistic this month.
I cannot believe I was about to jump, skip, and hop right over that. Like, thank you. Thank you for rewinding
No
us back
worries.
and getting to the
We
most
got lots of
important
stuff
part of
to get
that.
through.
Carrie, can I talk to you about, the way you just said that, so this part of my chart is going to be amplified. Like, I'm going to be, can you talk a little bit about intentionality? Because sometimes I think people think that this is just going to happen just by virtue of this is what the astrological weather is. And a big part of my philosophy, and I bet I'm pretty sure yours too, and just about every other practitioner I know, is that
Mhm.
we have to work towards and take intentioned focused action towards these things. It's not like, to me, it's not enough to sit back and be like, okay, this is in the eighth house, I'm just going to sit back and wait for really witchy, transformative, things to happen, as opposed to paying attention and putting more energy, more focus, more intention, and completing some action towards making that happen, and in a way that it positively affects either my life or my marriage or my body or my work. Would you talk a little bit about that and what your feeling is on that? Because
Mm.
that's my philosophy.
I absolutely agree. I believe that your thoughts command your compass. So it's like you can't just sit back and be like, okay, well, this is supposed to happen. What we do every day is showing us evidence of that we're going in a certain direction. And so we put our thoughts, you have to be open to receiving this evidence. And so our thoughts, our thought forms, they create things, right? So if we're putting our intention on this area, like where I was talking about my third house, if I can say my life's going to get amplified by my speech this month, and then just sit back and be like, all right, amplify me, right? All y'all should be amplified right now, okay?
Hmm. Hmm.
Or what I'm already doing, which is like I'm building a whole Patreon right now. It's like this is something that was already intuitively in me, but that's I'm taking that focus. I'm saying, okay, I'm going to put my intention there. I'm working with my assistant. She's building this thing for me. We're coming up with all the tiers. We're doing this way to get my voice out there even bigger, right? So my thoughts are there, and then you do 1%, and the universe does 99. Now, with that Sagittarius energy, Sagittarius is Jupiter energy, and it represents the opening of something, because we can't receive something until we open up, expand our current box of perception to receive it. Like, you can't just say, I vision boarded this thing,
Hmm.
right? I want a new car, but I don't have a driveway to put it in, right? You can't say, like, I want a new man, but I haven't worked through some of the issues I had with the last man,
Yes.
to receive this new man, this new type of man.
Hmm.
One of the big things that, a lot of women are saying, like, I want this masculine man, right? And it's like, are you a feminine woman then? Like, you have to look at these things, you have to look at these polarities. And then, there's a lots of spectrum in between there, right? But what I'm saying is, like, this, the, these signs come after each other for a reason. Scorpio is about plummeting the depths, going into the shadows, purging the stuff that is no longer working, right? Seeing yourself and accepting yourself, right? so that when Sagittarius comes in, I accept myself. I know myself now. I'm expanding to this bigger version of me, the version that can receive this because I'm not putting up walls anymore. I'm fully surrendering to all the possibilities. And then what happens after Sagittarius season? Here comes Capricorn, making it real, making my manifestation real. I've expanded to receive it. Capricorn is all about doing the work, the discipline, to the creating the foundation so that what you receive can take some roots. That's why it's an
Mm-hmm.
earth sign, right? And
Yeah.
then the sign after that, Aquarius, is all about transcendence. Let's, take it up off the ground now and get it bigger and out there. So just have a lot of respect and understanding for where you are in the cycle, basically. Right
Yeah.
now, we're in the expansion phase. So focus on expansion.
Awesome. Carrie, can you talk about honesty and Sagittarius? Because I feel like in my own reading and research, it's like that placement and that education and research that I do for myself, one of the resounding things that I keep challenging myself to live in that part of my chart is honesty.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
honesty. And when it comes to intimacy, since that's what we're talking about, right? That's kind of the overarching topic of our live today, and like how we can bring this, why Sagittarius season is a wonderful time to again renounce suffering and to use the energy of the season to help you more effectively do that. Like what honest, because I was immediately turned on when you said if Scorpio and that time is about plumbing the depths, like plumbing the depths, so I know, surrendering to it even if it's uncomfortable. Now that we have that knowledge and we've done that, what does Sagittarius season say about honesty? And if we should like,
Mm.
because if we're not honest with ourselves and honest about our relationships, I don't know how we're going to do any of this work. So I just wanted to ask about that aspect of the Sagittarian archetype.
I'm glad you asked about that. There's a reason Sagittarius is literally my favorite sign of the zodiac. And the reason why is because Sagittarians cannot help but be honest. They have been the Scorpio before. They know that surrender is required in order to get to the mountaintop, basically. And if you know a Sagittarius, they always have a soapbox, right? They always have a philosophy. They always have a thing that they stand behind, they fight for. They travel the world so that they can expand and learn more things, so that they can fight for more stuff. And we forget that Sagittarius is a spiritual sign, but it's also the last fire sign of the zodiac. So it represents the last movement, the last warrior piece of energy. And what Sagittarius fights for is truth. That's what it fights for. It fights for honesty. It fights for the full illumination. That's why Sagittarians are this kind of rock, to be honest.
Hmm.
It's like things roll off of them, even if it's rough and it was painful. They'll tell you that was painful. That hurt me. That got me. You got me, right? And it also can roll off their backs because they've been the Scorpio before. That's the sign that came before them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can't help but be honest now because they see nothing you get from being dishonest. All the freedom comes from honesty. But I will say, a Sagittarius, they can get a little high and mighty, because they have seen some stuff, and so they tend to be a little. They can, like I said, there's a little soapbox that's walking around under all of them. So yeah, you can get a little bit high and mighty with the Sagittarius energy, but that's for a reason.
Okay, cool. So, oh, well, great. I'm so glad I asked. And I asked because I asked the questions I know y'all want to ask.
Yes, of course. Yes.
And can't. And until we get to be much better at moderating our chat, like y'all are gonna have to let me put in the questions until we're better, until we're pros at this. Okay, so our collective reading,
Yes.
and following in
I've
the
been
beautiful
waiting.
flow of what Karrie has educated us on today. And I really recommend y'all go back, listen to the episode, re listen to this live, take notes, This is going to help you so this is going to help you so much. And again, even if it's just the beginning phases for some of y'all, it's going to be fun. Like it's going to be
Yes,
fun.
it is.
What planets are in Sagittarius? What does it mean? What Sagittarians do you know? Do they exhibit some of this stuff, or some of that, like that you can, pick, you can pick out and, from the ether, or did you notice like in their personality? Enjoy it. Take some time. Go back. Like roll around in this. You got a whole month to like get into it. And if you're going to be dealing with contemplating, planning around, trying to make changes in your relationship, now you got some focus. We got some hard work for you. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the reading. So from my favorite oracle, and y'all, I like to use an oracle card, especially in doing this collective reading for us and our community with the podcast. The one I'm using and that I'm really enjoying is the Love Oracle of Eden. So if y'all
Mm.
like it, if the spirit moves you, y'all want to get it. It's a wonderful deck. It's created by two creators of color, so I love it. And I use it as our overarching theme for the work, right? Like it's the lens through which we are going to view our research and our exploration, and hopefully take some intention to action. So it's on intimacy, our relationships. And if you're not in a partnered up relationship right now, the partner is you. Okay.
Mm.
Which is most important anyway. It's probably where all of us should be starting. So intimacy, relationships, and probably our, our love and our intimate relationships. The first card that I pulled was associated with Gemini. Actually, it's the Lovers, and it looks very much like, like a Garden of Eden. There's a, Adam looking figure, Eve looking figure, beautiful angelic figure. That's supposed to be the angel Raphael's, talking about like the healing aspect and the divine. Approbation of whatever the relationship is, meaning it's blessed, it's full, like it's blessed, it's something that is okayed by the heavens, that the earth says go. It's very powerful. The Adam figure comes to the relationship with a lot of fire. Normally we see something that looks like a burning bush behind him. Eve comes, of course, with the tree of knowledge, the serpent, the apple. The figure is normally very fulsome and beautiful. And of course, when this card comes up in a love reading, Karrie, of course, everyone's excited, like excited. It can, it can portend, some kind of committed relationship, or a need to focus on the relationship. So if
Mm.
anything, to me, it means, oh yeah, we were right. Yeah, that's what, we're talking about relationships. That's a, it's a confirmation of what we're supposed to be talking about. And it also means that now it's kind of important.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we are being called to take a focused look at it, whether we want to or not. But since it's Sagittarius season, let's play around with being ruthlessly honest with ourselves, right? Because that's another wonderful thing about these modalities is they're private. You ain't got to tell nobody nothing if you don't want to. This doesn't mean you have to have a big sit down about it. It means a sit down needs to take place with yourself, like, because you're the one steering the ship, and so now is an important time to do it.
Okay.
Right in the middle, we have the Knight of Wands, and that means
Ooh.
heat, passion, intensity. Knights always mean movement, a mission, right? So we've got some fire coming in right under the message that, yeah, now's the time to talk about this and focus on it. And when or if something comes towards you, or someone comes towards you, because that's often what the Knight of Wands means. It means, I always like look at the Knights and be like, okay, what's coming? What's what's on the way? Because you need to have your eyes open. That's where your astrology. That's where we find the signs, right, Karrie? Like if our eyes aren't open, if we don't, we're not aligned with the way we should be mirroring, the stars and the planets that are above us. Like these are the things that like help you look for those signs and symbols. So if something's coming towards you that's kind of hot, it's kind of exciting, it's vigorous, it's very attractive, it's magnet, you feel this pull towards it. It's okay. I would suggest and say that, yeah, play around with the edges of it. You might want to get closer to it. Is this warming me up? Is this burning me? I don't know. But since it's coming, get into it. And I'm going to give
Get
us a
into
little
it.
assignment for each card later. But the last card is the Page of Pentacles. Love the pages.
I
They're
love pages.
aren't right.
I
They're
do.
like that. They want to be knights, right? Like they're almost always in a new environment in the old days, right? And especially in a lot of old Western cultures, the a page. It was kind of an honor to be a page. A noble family would send a son to another family to raise them up and to learn the ways of like whatever that family is. I always think of the Game of Thrones, honestly, when I like pages, knights, these kind of things. These are,
Oh.
like normally like a noble family would send like a child, maybe a younger son, to the house of whatever to learn whatever, to learn whatever way, and they're responsible for carrying messages, right? Or starting things. Like we think about the intern, like new projects.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so it's a wonderful card. And also in tarot, for those that are studying tarot, here's your little bit of tarot knowledge. The pages also represent the suit or the element the suit is associated with. So right now, the card that we have now is the Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. These if this was a people shaped energy, practical. It's earth energy. They're going to get it done. They've got a plan to get it done, and they're results oriented. They want to show that this is going to bring forth something. A page is almost always seen like the Knight of Pentacles in a field, right? Which means, which that symbol is like planting, the seed, bringing in the crop, like, like something that you can't rush. You can't rush a crop, right? You gotta slowly go through each season, and there's nothing you can do. You can make improvements, enhancements, but you can't rush it. So that is that energy. And so for new learners, it also means earth energy in its entirety, right?
Ah.
Pentacles energy in its entirety. So that is, that is our Page of Pentacles, and that's your little mini tarot lesson. And for our heart work, our actually, Karrie, I'm going to ask you to respond to any of those. Any of those take your fancy? Do you want
I
to learn
want
a little
to.
something more about?
Yes, yes. I've been taking my notes here. Okay. So I love the connection between, well, one, I love the lover's card. And I love the way you talked about that, when the lover's card comes up, we often think, oh, it's so much about, like, oh, I'm going to have a good, juicy relationship. And it's like this card is saying, like, this union is like ordained in a way, like it's for you, it's about you, it's a connection that's meant to be. And I love that. I love that about the Knight of Wands. I have to say, the Wands, I'm still, it's about communication. It's about talking. I'm still foggy about Wands.
Okay, Wands. My favorite suit, obviously, since as
Yes.
Karrie has informed recently, I have Leo Sun, freaking Sagittarius Moon, and Aries Rising. So I knew there was always knew there was a reason I love the Wands, because it's associated with the element fire. So first of all, we want to sink, we want to not sink, we want to rise into fire energy. What does that mean? Like warmth, heat, crackle. We think of passion. We think of courage. We think of the self. If ever there was a suit that is about the self, maybe second only to the swords and like what's going on in our mind, our sense of the self mentally, this is about you. What lights you on fire? What makes you excited? What your urges, your desires, your attractions, also your own personal power, your own personal charm. Like when this card comes up for you, and especially if you're somebody that identifies with fire energy, it's like, what kind of fire am I bringing to this? Like what kind of fire am I bringing to the situation? Oh, also, Karrie, it has to do with sexuality.
Ah.
The heat of seduction, attraction,
Ooh.
but most importantly, yourself. As you're doing your readings and you're learning about your readings, of course, other people come into it. But what the wands always say is you. What's coming towards you? What kind of heat are you generating? How do you need to amp up the heat? Should you tamp it down a little bit? How should you, how do you act with warmth? How do you speak with warmth? So to me, that's what the wands are all about: fire, heat, crackle, passion, yourself, creativity, creative projects. But since we're talking about intimacy, and it is right smack under the way its placement came up, right smack under the intimacy card, we're gonna go ahead and be a little bit more focused on that, so
We can hone in on it a bit.
yeah. So Karrie, so the let's contemplate just knights. Knight of Wands versus
Yeah.
say Knight of Cups. You know, Knight of Cups is kind of
Okay.
dreamy, Romeo like, in love with love. They normally present this kind of, dreamy dream boy, bot magazine, teen magazine, like, just kind of heartthrobby, like, the boy that has no problem bringing you the flower or whatever. Knight of Wands is probably going to be more like, ooh, that was upside down. I mean, some of y'all, we need to write that ship. All right. Knight of Wands is probably going to be a little bit more hot, a little bit more attractive. He was the cute boy, he's the lax boy, the basketball star, the boy that's always, funny, like that, everybody likes, wants to be around. They're exciting. May not be Mr. and Mrs. forever, but the
Yeah, yeah,
ride
yeah.
the
So
ride is going to be
exciting.
wild. It's going to be
Gotcha,
exciting.
gotcha. Yeah.
This is the person that's the roller coaster, not the Ferris wheel, not the merry-go-round. This is the roller coaster. Does that make sense?
Thank you for breaking it down into amusement park rides because now I get. I think that all life should be broken down into amusement park rides.
Note to
Perfect.
self.
I got it.
Note to self.
Yes,
I will be
I
looking for
got it.
amusement park analogies.
And tell me, okay, because my final question is about these pentacles because I'm a pentacles girl. I
Hmm.
just I'm fascinated with it. I have a king of pentacles on my altar. I painting a pentacle. I'm a king of pentacles. I pull king of pentacles all the time.
Yes,
Queen of
ma'am.
pentacles, all the pentacles.
Hmm.
Now, how do we like cups and pentacles?
Hmm.
Because in my mind, cups is it's like filling something, and and then so yeah, talk to me about the difference between these
Pentacles
two.
versus like cups. Cups are actually, that's a wonderful little polarity to talk about. Pentacles, overall basic arching, since that's what the page in a lot of ways and a lot of tarotologists represent, again, the apotheosis, the suit in full, the
Mhm.
temporal, the not no temporal, the corporal was here, like what's here, the here and now. We can touch it, we can feel it, we can taste it. It's Torian, right? Like like what can we literally, not what we imagine, but what we can really smell, what we can really see, what we can really touch. um
Okay.
Money, finances, our domicile, our physical body, like what's right here and now. This is not pie in the sky philosophy, intellect, thought. This is what we can
Yeah.
see, hear,
Yeah.
touch. Like, so
Touch,
that's what
taste,
pentacles.
feel. Yes.
And for so many of us that are, we still have to exist in the matrix, even if we know it is the matrix. It's work, it's money, it's resources, it's what's come in. It's also stability,
Mm.
dependability.
Very
Like
Taurian.
right, we think of
Yes.
all the earth signs with the pentacles, right? Like those are the archetypes that are assigned to earth energy. So we think dependable, we think like on time, um
Mm. Mm.
slower to move, right? Like earth is
Mm.
slow. Water and air, fire are fast moving. Earth not so much, unless something cataclysmic happens, or unless one of the other elements is added to it in an exciting way. The way air, cold air and water produces snow, or or heat, the flame, water makes steam, like, so that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like earth, to make earth move, we need a flood, right? Or it takes time to make a mountain, right? Like we're talking like millions of years to
Yes.
get like a mountain range. Like that's earth, that is earth energy. And in terms of the page of pentacles, if we look at the face cards, the ones that actually, like the king, the queen, the knight, the page, we're thinking of somebody young, right? Like a page. This is young energy. This is young adult
I do love
energy.
my pages.
Not necessarily a child, but definitely new to this, right? So new to
Mhm.
this, like new to understanding that earth energy is who I am, and I need to learn how to work in that way. I need to learn to be the intern that is dependable, that they call on, that the people want in a group project. You can't have a group project without this person, because this is the one that's going to get y'all over the finish line, right? With
Right.
actually getting the work done and making sure everybody stays to task, and that we turn this thing in on time. And so when we
Mm.
think about, oh, and there's one other thing I want to say about the lovers card, Carrie. I'm glad you said you liked it.
Yeah.
One of the most important, but one of the most important, yet not ignored, but just disregarded messages of the lovers card is making the right choice. making the right choice. This is a modern iteration of this card, this Adam and Eve
Oh,
thing. The old an old version of the card, and especially in the Tarot de Marseille, the
mhm.
card is a young nobleman and he's contemplating marriage, and he's got two choices in front of him: older, wiser, rich, still attractive, but it's
Yeah.
like a widow, versus Miss Young, bubbly Regina George, blonde hair, very, like, probably inspires a lot of physical passion, but is this the person you want to make, your long term, decision
Yeah.
to be with forever? And in the shadows or in a tree is Cupid, Eros, right? Like about to shoot an arrow. And so the message is, you better make the right choice, and you better make an informed choice about your relationship, or fate, the world, other people and occurrences, entities will make the decision for you. And so when we
Okay,
talk
you
about,
just blew my mind with
y-
this lover's card. Like the whole idea of choice.
yes,
Yes, of course.
around
It
intimacy,
yes.
around relationships, around
Right, the
what
right
we're picking.
choice.
Right.
Yes.
So here,
Ah, love it.
so this is a good one. And so, Carrie, whenever that one comes up, always know, and for you all that are listening, as Melanated Mystics, always know that if you decide to read for your friends or family or whatever, the first thing they're going to think is lovers, and that's fine. Couples, relationship, long term commitment, big relationship energy. Just always remember, in your counseling for yourself or for other people, if you're new to tarot, making the right decision, like Michelle, and
Mm.
hopefully, if it's in its upright state instead of, inverted or reversed, you kind of want to go Michelle Obama with this one. You want to go, um we go high, right? Like when it comes to the high
Mhm.
road and the low road, we take the high road. Even in this age of millennials and Gen Z, where they like to take you straight to hell,
Straight to hell. Yeah.
they will,
Straight to hell.
at the drop
Uh-huh.
of a hat, will drag you straight to hell. This is about taking the high road, making the this sounds very woo woo and very Marin, but making the decision that is for your best and highest. That
Mm.
saying. I try not to use it,
Yes.
but
The best and highest can be very sexy though, and I
yeah,
just want to say that to folks, like,
yeah,
you know, yeah, that grounded, sexy, highest octave energy, light energy can be very sexy. Doesn't always
yeah.
have to be that dark,
Right.
yeah.
What we
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
deserve, as opposed to what a lot of Black women we've been taught about in relationships, and we talk about this a lot. You'll hear me talk about this a lot. A lot of times we are taught that the best we can hope for is to be moderately unhappy in our relationship.
Yes.
Just
And yes,
barely
and the best that we can hope for is to be tolerated, you know? Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so our heart work with this is to, under the rubric of intimacy, our intimate relationships, right?
Mm.
Using the energy of this beautiful Sagittarius system, after you have looked at your chart, you've listened to what Carrie said, you've taken some notes, maybe you've been like, okay, what third house, okay, what does that mean? All right, you can start putting it together. You literally can start making yourself like a little formula after you've done that wonderful groundwork that Carrie has just informed you about and educating you about. um, Let us first contemplate what is the status of what's going on with you in your relationship right now, because clearly right now is an important time to be talking and thinking about this. First of all, I want you to acknowledge that it's an important time for you to hammer all this out, and it's time for us to start going high, requiring more, thinking about what it is we well and truly want, and making the decision that the actions we are going to take are for that. And this is a great time to be doing this as we go into winter, right? We're getting ready to
Right.
hunker down. We're going to probably spring into action on this in the spring, but for right now is a good time to think about that. So I want you to think about that. What is the status? What is the state? And ask yourself, and maybe journal about this. Speak it, talk it out loud. Why is now an important time? What's going on now? Why is now the right
Right.
time? And come up with some solid sentences on the state of your relationship and make it declarative. Like,
Mm.
if I would say, if it were about my daughters, what is the state of my relationship with my daughters right now? Calm and fucking harmonious. And I say it like that with my eyes big, because it ain't always like that. These little princesses are happy, you know. Anyway, so just something like that. Come up with a couple of declarative sentences, honestly, right? Because remember what Carrie said about honesty and Sagittarius.
Right. Right. The honesty part is the higher octave. Like, so just go high and you'll always reach honesty. Period. All right. cut
Yeah,
you off,
and don't
girl.
be
Go ahead.
afraid because this is private. You ain't got to talk about this to anybody else. Carrie and I are the only people talking about it to thousands of people. Like,
Yes, we'll take the heat for you. You keep
yeah.
your stuff. Keep your stuff to yourself.
And
Okay.
if people ask, why are you being like this, Carrie and Cue? They ain't even got to know who it is. And if they're like, who is that? Give them the QR code to the podcast. All right. Tell them to
I
get into
love
it.
her. I love her. Okay, go ahead.
Um, assignment number two. Heart work number two.
Okay.
Knight of Wands. Um, whether if this is okay, so I'm gonna give you two options here. This is like a build your own. If you are in a relationship right now, the action on this is heat it up and go on a little bit of a fire mission, even if it's with yourself, and enjoy some physical intimate pleasure. If ain't nobody there right now, set up a scenario where you come up with your own self pleasure prescription.
Seduce yourself, girl.
Yes,
I was just looking at lingerie this morning. I was like, this is what I'm giving myself for my Christmas present.
girl.
And it's like, this is about seducing yourself. Yeah.
If y'all want some witchy seducing yourself, the first time I came across this company, they do not pay us for this. They should. But the first time I came across this company was at the Witches Confluence years ago. It was like a couple of years before, a year or two before COVID. If they ever start doing that live again, y'all got to go to it. It's in the Bay Area. It's amazing. The name of the company is Thistle Inspire. And
girl, where was I buying my stuff from this morning?
yes, it's witchy.
That's
and sexy
exactly the place.
AF.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I whenever I order stuff from there, the Medusa collection, I was like, let me see what they got.
I literally was just convinced. I was talking to my assistant Maya this today and being like, "Girl, you need to come look at this. The Medusa collection. The what was it? The goodness.
Dracona, dragons. There's
the ones with the Girl, I have it literally up on my screen right now. What am I talking about? Like they have the peacock collection, the Brooklyn collection.
That one's beautiful. Oh God, that one's really gorgeous.
The harnesses, and they have some really delicate, beautiful, feminine stuff, and then they have this stuff with some couple of chains and things. You're like, all right, like,
and some things that harken to different eras. Like I got this one thing, I haven't brought that one out of the collection yet. Josh is gonna have to do something amazing to get that one because it's gonna be a whole experience. But it's literally like a 1920s kind of dress, but it's all like it's.
I know which one you're talking about. We literally became a commercial for this Inspire right now, but it's like a very ragtime kind of.
It's very like 20s, like flowers you could put, except like ain't
Shug Avery.
Exactly. If they made it in a red, I don't know if they make it in red.
They do make it in a red.
Mine is black. Okay. But it's a wonderful one. So yes, seduce yourself. So the assignment, the mission, thank you, Carrie, is seducing yourself. Some action, some mission. Let's make it a fire. Let's make it a fire mission. Your mission to get in touch with fire. Doesn't have to be long term, because if this energy is people shaped, it normally ain't long term. But like some kind of we want to get on a self seduction and a fire mission. And think about what that looks like for you.
Love it. All right.
Heat it up. Like whatever it is, whether it's a marriage, a long-term relationship, something new, heat it up, amp it up. And the pleasure is about you. It's not about giving somebody else pleasure. It's about giving you pleasure. For me, the pleasure of lingerie is the shock and excitement it inspires. Like,
or even if so I love how it inspires your partner, like who you're with, and the whole performance of the gift that you're presenting, right? But I also love just wearing it under my clothes when I'm out in the world and just being like, nobody knows what's going on under here. I'm seducing myself in public, okay, and not getting arrested or nothing. So this is. Yes. I'm glad we're on the same wavelength. Okay.
Yes. And our Page of Pentacles. First of all, getting into Pentacles energy, come up with some way to enjoy Earth energy. That means either putting your feet on the ground, forest bathing, anything Earth inspired, holding your crystal, tucking it under your bosom. I don't know. When you go like. Oh, what you got there, Carrie? What is that?
I just said I got my crystal right here.
What is it? Oh, is that your pendulum? Put it close to the camera.
Pendulum.
So beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it's lapis. And so anyway, yes.
Healing, right? I feel like that was one of the first semi-precious stones I ever learned about, lapis, and it's healing, and it's so Beautiful, so
It's
beautiful.
so beautiful. I know.
So
All
that
right, go ahead.
earth
Go ahead.
energy, indulge yourself. And if you want to take on a little earth project, a lot of us like to do things. We're kind of marketed to and told to do things in January 1st around our bodies, nutrition, like things like that. I don't believe in that because I think the time that we actually execute on things and we have the most power behind what we decide to execute is springtime. But go ahead and start taking your notes,
Hmm.
especially around intimacy. What is their physical, what is their earthbound that is going to help you along this journey? If there's insecurity about the strength of the body, um,
Mm.
um, what else? Our domicile, if there's something about our bedroom or something that we can affect, is there something we can bring into it around intimacy and relationships that is earth focused? If there's a, I know I bring flowers into my bedroom. I make a little, I bought this little vanity table. It's actually turned into my kind of Venusian romance altar. So there's always roses on it, or I've got something sweet scented on it. All my perfumes are on it. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but something like that, something small.
I like it.
Is it a pink candle? Does that make you feel sexy? Is it a piece of
Mm.
lingerie that is physical? Like is
Mm-hmm.
you know, and if there's some way for you to blend all three of those in one lovely project, do it.
Mm.
That's what we're
Mm.
doing, and use that energy like that Karrie just explained and talked to us about, and have some fun with it. Tell us about it, please.
Yes. You
Yeah,
said, please. You like, I want the business. Give me the
yeah.
business.
Tell
Like, let me know all your.
us.
Yes.
Carrie, can
Let
I
us
also say
in.
too?
Hmm.
Now is a wonderful time for readings, y'all. Now is a wonderful time for tarot and astrology and charting your course for
Oh,
this new
please.
season.
Yes.
It's a wonderful time.
Mhm.
It's a great gift to give too, by the way. So,
It's a fantastic gift. I literally just put in my newsletter, my video newsletter that goes out every week. I put in my newsletter that I have just my gift certificates for two of my top best-selling readings. My birth chart with a reading, soul business astrology reading are 20% off for the gift certificates. So this
yeah,
is for you to give the gift to someone else. Give
yeah.
the gift of astrology. And Helicu, I know that you are probably getting all booked up for people who are trying to figure out what's going on with their next year.
Oh yeah, and whether it's for, because I think Carrie and I both do events. We both enjoy, we love events, and we love team
We
building
love it.
especially. We love corporate events and team building. Um, but yeah, it's a wonderful time, and with the wonders of modern technology, it is the easiest gift to give. Like my little gift card, I do the arranging, I call the person for you, we set it up according to their schedule. It's the most festively priced reading that I have. And it's fun, it's unique. I promise you nobody else gives gifts like that. And if there's somebody witchy or metaphysical or loves or is an occult philosopher or is trying to learn these modalities, astrology and tarot,
Right,
y'all, of course,
right.
hook us up. And the awesome part about the podcast is you get to listen to us and you get an idea of what our philosophy is, like how we read,
Oh,
where we're coming
yes,
from, what our personality
yes.
is like. You get a real up close and personal with us. Carrie, you know what we should do next time? Let's let our next live be about how we want people to come to the reading. Like what kind of questions, how you should prepare yourself for the reading. Because I
I
find that's the
like
thing.
that a
My head,
lot.
yeah, yeah.
I
Like
like that a
I don't
lot.
know if
How
my
to
head does
come?
a
What
lot.
do you want to? Well, I
Yeah.
do. Sometimes people will come. I do like an intake form with my
Hmm.
readings, and then, but I always ask them. I say, okay, so, what has transpired since the time that you filled out this form?
Yeah.
If you would like to focus on this now, and then let's feel in your body. What are you being most called to? And so this is a great way for you guys to come. We'll talk about that. How to
Yeah.
come to the reading. How to feel into it. I think that's a great idea, Alec.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
if you come with the right questions and with a desire to learn and a plan for implementation, it becomes something that is a part. Like I refer to my chart all the time. I refer to my first reading with Carrie all the time. The second reading, Carrie records your session and you can go back to it. I will give you a picture of your cards. You'll have, like a how to move forward plan, like a plan for intention to action towards. If there's something good we see around the corner in there, bringing that into fruition, making it happen, or ways to avoid some of this effery
Strategies, yes.
or way to make
Give me strategies,
yeah,
girl.
or
Yeah.
way to make choices that will help you experience a little less, of some of the stickier points. Um,
Yeah. And as
you
somebody who's had multiple readings with Q, I cannot recommend her enough. Like I have notes upon notes upon notes. Okay. And let me tell you, it always comes true. It always does, period. And so I go back to her stuff because it's like I can literally chart it. I'm like, oh, I'm in the Page of Pentacles period that she was
yeah.
talking about now. I'm headed towards this next period. You can literally feel it. Like it's just you have a gift. And I'm really excited to talk about it because everybody should get in on this. Everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, indeed. You all, so that is your heart work. That was a lot, but you
Yes.
are a lot. Your life is a lot.
Mm.
We are a lot. So yeah, we deserve to
We
have the
are a
time
lot.
spent. And as I think I've said this to y'all before, these are awesome projects to do and get into and work on when people are driving you freaking crazy, especially around the holiday season. There is nothing better than going deeper into yourself and turning that energy into yourself when you're dealing with a bunch of bullshit and fuckery which that's surrounding you, whether it's in the office or in your home or in your family around holiday season. I swear it's one of the best self-care self-care packages you can give yourself. So getting into yourself and your astrology. You all, the newest episode of the Melanated Mystics podcast is out. It is going to be here on YouTube. It is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's about how we can release, the pledging allegiance to suffering as Black and Brown women, how we can use our tarot and astrology for that. We really hope you enjoy it. We want you all to subscribe to the podcast. Go to our website. We'll have links for that down in this in the description a little bit later. Carrie, is there anything you want to plug? Any events? Anything that's going on you want to let the people know about before we go?
Um, there are actually. Like I said, I have my gift certificates that are on sale until midnight, December 24th.
Right
Okay.
on.
I have my 2023 forecast that's coming up at the end of December, where I'm going to go through every month of next year and talk to you about what you can expect. And there's a lot. There's a lot. Okay. So the early bird price for that is going to come in a couple weeks in December. So stay tuned to my newsletter to find out when you can get the early bird price, and then
Mm-hmm.
of course it'll go up after that. And then I am also going to be part of an amazing summit that's coming in January. We haven't even started promoting it yet. It's all about how to create a mystical to material business during Pluto and Aquarius next year.
Yeah.
So how to take all that mysticism that you've been learning about and actually create a business that will take you into the new age.
Oh, awesome. Look at these awesome offerings. And also something tells me Carrie and I are probably gonna have something exciting to share with y'all probably.
Oh, girl. Well, there's
Yeah.
many things in the works
Yes,
for
so
Melanated
many.
Mystics. This is why we're
So
trying to get you guys on board. Yeah.
yes, quickly. And to have some fun with this during the holiday season. Like it's really an excuse to carve out time for yourself. I don't know why I'm so stuck on that right now. I think it's because I feel all the
Because
pressures
it's
and I
true.
finally between my spirituality, my magic, therapy, being in the best, probably the best state of health I've been in easily since my 20s. I just
Mm.
want to just say
Amen
you,
to
focus
that.
on you. Every ounce, every bit of time you pour into yourself yields these dividends in all these other areas.
Yes, it does.
It just
Yes, it
does.
does.
I swear, the more time Carrie, I kind of want to be Carrie, the more single Carrie stays, the prettier, and the more I just literally, I'm like, when you have this time and this energy and this knowledge, I'm like, this girl just gets sexier and prettier and more interesting every week with her, with your,
Mm.
like, here's your another example of how to focusing on you, like focusing on
Yes.
you, your work,
Focusing on
your
you and
philosophy,
what
get
you're
us going.
attracting in. I mean, when I focus on me, what I attract in is so beautiful and juicy
Yes,
because that's what I am.
yes,
That's what I feel the most beautiful I've ever felt, and it has nothing to do with appearance right now.
yeah,
It has to do with just my light, my energy, and how much I'm willing to receive.
yes,
And I'm finding some beautiful men that are showing up in my life and some beautiful energies that I get to taste right now
yeah.
because I'm opening up to that. So, yeah.
Some ballers too, y'all. The King of Pentacles energy is for real. It's a
Yeah.
real thing.
Ah, it is
Seriously.
beautiful. It's beautiful. So we want everybody to get in on this.
Yes, we
And
do.
yeah.
So, of course, y'all email us all your questions on tarot and astrology, Black Girl Magic. If it has to do with a topic that we have discussed, the soft Black girl life, going no contact, Black girl magic in general, or, with more specificity, like get in touch with us. We love coming to y'all live. These are the best.
It's fun. It's fun
Enjoy,
for us.
yeah, enjoy this season. And again, like Carrie said, I think one of the most brilliant things she said since I've known her and I love her was that around this season, opening ourselves up to optimism, to winning, to success, to expansion. We mean it. This stuff is real. And there's one thing I'll say about Carrie and I as an astrologer and a tarot pro and as podcasters. People talk a lot about their value, what they have to offer. You'll see a lot of different iterations of readers and astrologers online, and no shade, obviously. I always want to, professional courtesy and all, but I think Carrie and I are practitioners whose lives and abundance reflects our expertise at our level of
Mm.
skill and ability. Not meaning to toot our own horn, but BB, if you were to take a look at our lives from the inside or the outside, I promise y'all want to get over here. And so our delivery is a little bit different. Maybe our look is as well, but it's worth
Mhm.
it. So y'all want to get in here.
Mm.
Y'all y'all want to get in here and get into this.
Yeah. Get
Yeah.
into. I just want to say beat beat. Hey.
Indeed, beep beep.
Beat beat.
To toot that
Beat beat.
horn.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
we love y'all.
Mm.
I'm gonna continue resting. I was supposed to rest today, and I woke up and
Okay.
got hit from both sides with people wanting to like the girls want to do something, the husband want to do something, and we managed to make it work.
Do it together somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, but and this was so much fun. I'm gonna go lay the hell down and watch The Gilded Age. So
Ah,
that
I
is
love
where
it.
that
So
is where
decadent.
yeah, I'm gonna put on those boots, girls. Those I dance so hard, girl. I danced 4 days in a row. So by the end of the day yesterday, I was just like,
Woman.
but we have those boots that you put on and they do this compression thing like in and out. Since everybody in this house is an athlete, like I started using all of their expensive equipment. So
Wow.
that is what your
Okay.
girl. I'm about to get into this second day gumbo and the sweet potato pie.
Second.
Um,
Okay. So I'm gonna come over your house with Tupperware. Thank you.
Girl, we're gonna see each other next week, and my daughter's making me make another apple pie because they. So I
The
will.
made
I
that
will.
one.
I'm gonna make another sweet potato and another apple. I'll bring you a little mini tart. You'll love
This is
it.
okay. So I'm gonna end with this, but like the fact that Halakyu makes gumbo for Thanksgiving, like shout out to the Southern girls. Shout out to that just warmed my heart to be like, yes, honey, yes, that's
Yes.
Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, for all y'all listening, second day gumbo is the best.
Yes. And shout out to
Yeah.
the California girls because they help us keep it healthy.
Ah.
They help us keep it healthy. Like it's living in California, I've actually learned how you do not need to freaking overdo it the way we do in the South. We can still have our flavors, we can still have our textures, we can still have our cultural foods in a way
Right.
that makes sense. And we don't have to be a
Right. In a
slave to
way
the
that you
stove
don't
for a
have to
week.
be. Yes, and you don't have to. I mean, whenever I would go back to New Orleans to see family, I would just be popping peppermints left and right because it's the amount of grease and oil that I would be ingesting, and I'd just be like, "Oh, I'm getting nauseous."
Or
Have a couple peppermints,
or it needs that
then
astringency of the mint, right? Like
yeah, you tell this time to
the
cut this for
grease.
a minute, yeah, and you just be like, oh, like the menthol getting in your eyes. You're just like, all right, I'll be ready for some more in a minute.
Oh my
But that's
gosh.
the, so yes, I do love being a California girl, where you can say like, okay, we don't need an entire sea,
Yeah.
an ocean in this,
Yeah. Healthy
you
moderation.
know, right? We don't need a layer of fat on the top. We
Yeah.
can do some other things.
Yeah.
So Yes, best of both worlds. Yeah.
I'll
All
never.
right.
Okay, I know we gotta go. I'll never forget this one Marin soccer mom who was like, "What is the purpose of frying the butter?" Like she read something about fairs and how people deep fry butter. Like literally, girl, they'll coat butter, deep fry it, eat
Yes,
it.
I have heard of this. Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, that's a
Yes, you.
Californian who would definitely be like, what is the purpose of the frying the fat in the fat?" Like I don't understand. And I was like, touche, Karen. That
Touche.
was a good. That was actually a good point. It's actually a good point.
You
All right,
right.
I'm gonna
You
shut
in
up because
school
we'll
and
never
you.
get off. I'm gonna be quiet. Karen's gonna say goodbye.
All right. We love you. We heart you. Okay. We want you to be full of love and full of receiving this holiday season. We're excited to serve you. And thank you so much.
Love y'all.